What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! OCG TCG video. Today, guys, we are going to be going over the new Speedroid support that is set to release in the upcoming Legendary Duelist set. We have already covered the Leerless and their boss monster. We have covered Sacred Knights support and its upgrade, and we went over the upgrade for Clearwing Synchro Dragon in the form of Crystal Clearwing Synchro Dragon, but we never got the Speedroid support when that card was released, and now we have finally got it, and that is what we're going to be going over in today's video. So I hope you guys are excited. I'm very excited to see the support. I have been very impressed with the sets we got before with the Sacred Knights and the Leerless, so I cannot wait to see what the Speedroids bring to the table. So without further ado, guys, let's not waste any more time and let's get right into it. And as per usual, the way we do this is that we're going to go over the monsters first, then the extra deck, and then finishing it off with the spell and traps, which we do have all three. Recently I've been doing videos that have either been monsters or have been like spells or monster and spell and traps, as the last video I did was a monster and a trap card. So this is actually the first time we're going to be covering the extra deck in a while. But getting back on topic, the first monster we're going to be going over is Speedroid Party Horn Kid. It's a level 4 wind machine tuner effect monster with 1000 attack and defense. Its effect is you can only use the first and second effect of this card's name once per turn each. 1. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can excavate cards from the top of your deck equal to the number of other wind monsters you control. Add 1 excavated card to your hand. Also, place the rest on the bottom of the deck in any other order. Okay, so this basically just grants you a draw depending on the amount of wind monsters you have. So just say, for example, you just summon this one. You basically get to draw a card because you get to just add the card that you just draw because of the fact that there is no other cards to choose from. So you excavate the top card of your deck and you get to keep that one. So basically, this card just grants you an extra draw, which is not that bad. And its second effect is you can banish this card from your graveyard and target one level 3 or higher wind monster you control. Reduce its level by 2. That's a pretty interesting effect. So basically you can do some level manipulation with this to where you can use this effect, lower a monster's level by 2 to be able to go maybe into some other synchro plays that you want to do. Say, for example, you want to go into a level 6 and you have the monsters to make it 8. Use this monster, banish it, and then you can reduce that monster's level by 2. That way you can go into a 6 play if that's what you want to do. Not the most prevalent, I don't think, I guess, depending on what it is, because also you can go for like even lower monsters, like maybe like level 3s or level 2s. If you have 2 high level monsters to do that, then you can do something like that. So there's some potential with that. Overall, I think it's a pretty okay card, in my opinion. I mean, being able to get basically a +1, and if you have more wind monsters on the field as well, you get to choose what card you get, and then sure, you got to send the one to the bottom to the other cards to the bottom of your deck, but you're able to get the card that you want, so that's fine, I guess. But overall, pretty okay card, I would say. Up next, we have Speedroid Magic Hound. It is a level 3 wind machine effect monster with 800 attack and 800 defense. So basically, we got the tuner monster with Party Horn Kit, excuse me, and now we got the non-tuner monster for the Speedroid support. Its effect is you can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. When this card is normal summoned, you can send 1 Speedroid card from your deck to the graveyard. So this can be any monsters, spell, and traps. So basically you can just send a Speedroid from your deck to the graveyard. I guess maybe you can use for later on, or if you send Party Horn Kid to your graveyard, you can use its effect and be able to reduce a level by 2. So I guess there's some things you can do with that effect. So not that bad of an effect. Its second effect is if this card is in your graveyard, except the turn it was sent there, you can banish this card, then target 1 Speedroid monster in your graveyard, shuffle it into the deck, and if you do, special summon 1 Speedroid Synchro monster with the same level but different name from your extra deck. but its effects are negated. Okay, so if this card is in your graveyard, which it sucks you can't just do it right away, so you can't just pitch this card and be able to activate its effect. No, you have to wait a turn, so I wish you can activate it right away, but that's okay. You get the special summon a Speedroid Synchro monster, so I guess in the case of, we'll just say, like, since Party Horn Kid's in this as well, that one was a level 4 monster, which, funny enough, you have a level 3 here and then a level 4, so you got your level 7 for your Clearwing Synchro Dragon, which is pretty cool. But say you have Party Horn Kid on the field. Basically, you can use this card's effect after your turn that you sent this card to the graveyard. You can basically target that. Oh no, it's in the graveyard. Yeah, because you can pitch that into the graveyard. If this card gets into the graveyard, you can bring back Party Horn Kid into your deck and then shuffle it, and then you can get a Speedroid that is level 4, which I do believe there is one in the form of Speedroid Puzzle, so there's something you can do there. Or if you have any other monsters that you want to do that can fit the level requirement, then you can do that as well. So interesting card. That second effect is pretty interesting. It is going to be slow because you got to wait a turn, but overall, I don't think the card's that bad in my opinion. I think it's pretty okay. So, with that being said, that is going to be it for the monsters. Now let's get into the extra deck. And the first monster we're going to be going over is High Speedroid Cork Blaster. It's a level 3 Wind Synchro Tuner effect monster with 500 attack and 1000 defense. Okay, so we got our High Speedroid Synchro Tuner monster, which, you know what, I'll kind of get into it after this, because there is something I'm really hoping with this effect that helps something in a little bit when we kind of discuss about this card. Or discuss the card in particular, I should say. Its requirement, or its materials, is 1 tuner plus 1 or more non-tuner monsters. Okay, so it's generic. And you can only use the effect of this card. You can only use the effect of this card's name once per turn. I read that wrong for a second. You cannot special summon monsters the turn you activate this card's effect, except wind monsters. Okay, it locks you in the wind monsters, but honestly, we've seen that with a couple of cards in this set, but honestly, it's really not that bad. Its effect is, if this card is synchro summoned, you can activate one of these effects. Add 1 Speedroid spell and trap card from your deck to your hand. Now, I actually had to do a little bit of research on this card. It is not really that good right now, because there is only 1 Speedroid spell and trap card, and that it's a card that we're going to be going on later on in this video. So in terms of search targets, there's not really much that card would do. They're searching now. Maybe we'll get some later on, but for right now, that you don't really have many options you can search with that effect. So honestly, that for right now, depending on if that card is good or not, it's not really that strong right now. So, but it has potential maybe later on if we get some more Speedroid spell and trap cards. And I know some people might say, oh, what about something like Speed Recovery? That's a support card for Speedroids. This card is asking for a Speedroid spell and trap card. That means its name needs to have Speedroid in the name, not its like card text in its effect has Speedroid in it. If it was going to be that, I would say like add 1 spell or trap card that lists Speedroid in its name or in its card text or something around those lines. So yeah, I wish you could have searched a little bit more in my opinion. But the other one is, if this card was synchro summoned using only Speedroid monsters as material. Okay, that's interesting. Funny enough that it's generic, but one of its effects is requiring you to use all Speedroids for one of its effects. So I guess it encourages you to use a Speedroid monster in your Speedroids with this card. And all the materials that were used for a synchro summon are in your graveyard. Special summon all of them. Oh. Okay, never mind. I'm not mad about that anymore, because I will say this. If it didn't have that Speedroid restriction, this card is getting abused to all hell. There is no way that it wouldn't. Oh my gosh, that effect is really, really good. The potential that you have with that effect to bring back all of the monsters that you use to synchro summon this card is insane, and there is a thing of being able to change the levels of monsters so that you can make it go into this play and go into higher synchro monsters, because if you just did this in the base effects, the highest you would go is level 6 if you had a level 2 and a level 1 to go in this, and obviously they would have to be Speedroids, but that is not that bad an effect. But one particular thing that I wanted to see when it's an effect, and I actually do think it accomplishes, is making it an easy way to summon Crystal Clearwing Synchro Dragon. For people that don't know, I had a problem with that card having such a restriction on the materials used for its synchro summon. It needed a synchro tuner monster plus a Clearwing monster, so that made it very difficult to summon the monster, especially when you had a card like Assemblu Robin and Baroness de Fleur being generic. I really had a problem with that. But with this card, I think it's very easy to be able to go into that play, and I actually did kind of get a little bit ahead with this card. And I found out a way you can kind of do it. It involves Red Eye Dice, Terror Top, Take Tomboard, and this card. And technically that's 3 cards in your hand if you use it by that normal means to be able to get into Crystal Clearwing Synchro Dragon. If you guys can think of any other combination that you can think of, including this card, because obviously you need that Synchro Tuner monster, or any other one, if you could think of one, let me know, because honestly, this one I just feel like is the best one that I can think of. It fits with the Speedroid archetype, and it's able to basically generate all your monsters back to where you can go into more synchro plays, or just bring back the monsters. And funny enough, it only locks you in the win monsters, so you can bring the monsters back, and if you just use 2 monsters, get this monster out into the field and then bring those 2 back, that's an easy link 3 right there. So there's some potential in that as well. There's a lot of potential when it comes to this card. It locks you in the win, but honestly, that's really not that bad. So overall, I really do think that this is a good monster. I really do like this card. And again, if you guys have any other methods with using this card to get Crystal Clearwing Synchro Dragon, please let me know in the comments, because that's the method that I was able to figure out. I don't really know many Speedroid cards, so if you guys know any more that I might have missed that you could use as well, please let me know. I'm actually very curious if you guys can think of any other strategy in order to be able to get Crystal Clearwing Synchro Dragon. And also, well, actually also to mention with this effect as well, they need to be in your graveyard, so if you use Speedroid Pendulum monsters, you can't use it, but that's completely fine. So now I'm done with this card. Now we can get into the next card, but I will say this is definitely the most impressive card we've covered so far. Okay, you know how I just said that was my favorite card so far? I think just based off of pure design, this one just became my favorite. The next monster we're covering is High Speedroid Clearwing Rider, a level 11 wind machine synchro effect monster with 3,500 attack and 2,000 defense. Before we even get into the effect, look at this monster. This monster looks sick. It is literally Yugioh's D-Wheel with Crystal or Clearwing Synchro Dragon just fused together. You even see Clearwing Synchro Dragon's, I guess, spirits right behind the... This is my favorite card so far. This just... I know it's just a motorcycle, but it's Clearwing and it's a Clearwing motorcycle. It looks amazing. I love the design of this monster. It looks awesome. But let me actually calm down a second. Let me actually read the effects first before I get a little bit too hyped up. Its materials is 1 wind tuner plus 1 non-tuner wind synchro monster. Okay, so there is a little restriction in it towards wind monsters, but again, I think that's completely fine. I would rather have a restriction towards an attribute instead of like a type, I guess. I don't know, but its effect is, or its first effect, it doesn't say the hard once per turn anything. So once per turn, soft once per turn, you can roll a 6-sided die and shuffle wind monsters from your graveyard into the deck up to the result. Then you can destroy cards your opponent controls up to the number shuffled, and if you do, this card gains 500 attack for each card destroyed by this effect until the end of this turn. Okay, so that's actually a pretty cool effect, being able to destroy cards on the field, and being able to, I guess, get your Speedroid monsters back into your deck so that you can use them later on in the duel. If they are not doing anything in the graveyard, you can basically find a way to get it back into your deck so that you can use it later. Interesting. The only thing I am a little bit disappointed in is that it's reliant on a dice roll, which I will say though, I like what they kind of did with that though in terms of an anime reference, as Yugioh one of his biggest things was that he always liked to gamble. I think of that duel against Serena where he activated one of his trap cards and he had to roll a 6-sided die, and he gets to call a synchro monster that's in his extra deck, and he has to try to go and perform that synchro summon, but he can target one of his monsters to change its level, and depending on what the dice rolls, it will turn into that level. And if he gets the correct number, he is able to go into that synchro play. But if he fails, he ends up having to destroy all his monsters. So that's just an example of Yugioh and his whole luck-based strategies in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Arc 5 anime. But in terms of the real-life card game, I mean, we've seen it before that some cards have been used that have been dice related. I think of like Snipe Hunter. Back in the day when I was growing up, a lot of my friends would actually use Dice Foon, which is actually kind of hilarious. So you can use something like that as well that I've seen before. But honestly, I really just don't like dice roll effects, to be honest. I like something that's guaranteed, but I guess there's a little bit of randomness, and you can either be able to target 6 cards, potentially, or just 1. So, honestly, it's not that bad. I just don't like really luck factors in cards. But that's just me, though. Let's go into the second effect. During your opponent's main phase, quick effect, you contribute this synchro summoned card, special summon up to 2 level 7 wind synchro monsters with different names from your extra deck. Oh, that's actually a pretty interesting effect. So you tribute this card, then you can target 2 level 7 wind monsters. I guess if you're going to talk about this archetype, Clearwing, Synchro Dragon, Clearwing, Fast Dragon, technically those are different, they're technically different names, which you can do any other level 7 wind monster if you want to do that as well. So basically you can get those 2 onto the field. What's cool about that is if you got this monster onto the field, you can get your Clearwing Synchro Dragon pretty easily, and if you get Corkscrew on the field as well, there you go, you get a Crystal Clearwing Synchro Dragon. I don't really see you doing a play like that really with this card, because you already have to use your resources just to climb into this monster, so I really doubt that would have to be a case, but that's an option you can technically do if you really want to go down that route. Like, say you want to just get this monster first and just try to pop cards, then you tribute it to get a level 7 or 2 level 7 synchro monsters, use one of those, which would be Clearwing and Corkscrew, and be able to go into Crystal Clearwing Synchro Dragon and go from there. That is a method you can actually do with this. So overall, pretty interesting, I would say, in my opinion. But I will say this, favorite design card so far. I really do like the design of this monster. And all it is just a motorcycle and a Clearwing fused together. But, hey, you know what? It looks cool. I mean, come on, look at it. But let's go into the final card, the trap card that I was alluding to earlier. And that trap card is Speedroid Duplicate, a normal trap card. Its effect is you can only use the second effect of this card's name once per duel. Okay, so you can only activate that second effect once for the entire duel. So that's interesting. Its first effect, banish 1 wind monster from your graveyard, then target 1 card your opponent controls, return it into the hand. Okay, so you basically got a bounce by banishing one of your wind monsters that you might not need to use anymore. You can basically bounce a card on that your opponent controls. That's pretty cool. Its second effect is during your main phase, if this card is in your graveyard, you can target 1 Speedroid monster you control, reduce its level by 1, and if you do, special summon this card as a normal monster, a Machine Tuner Wind level 1, attack 0 for attack and defense actually, and then this card is not treated as a trap card. Okay, that's pretty interesting. So, basically, you can summon this card as a monster and reduce one of your monsters' level by 1. Okay, that's pretty interesting. So, say, for example, you have a level 3 Speedroid monster. I guess you can reduce its level and then get this card onto the field to be able to summon Corkscrew that way. That's an interesting effect. That's not a bad effect, I would say. Again, that has the whole effect of basically manipulating the levels. So, honestly, that's really not that bad of an effect. And hey, if you do this any higher and use something like Party Horn Kid, you can have its level reduced by 3 levels, actually. Say, for example, you have a level 5 monster for this scenario. You get that level 5 monster, and in this, use the Trap Cards effect to reduce it, then also be able to reduce it by 2 by Party Horn Kid's effect, and go into Corkscrew that way as well, and then bring back that level 5 monster for a level 8 synchro play, that as long as it's wins. So, there's potential in this card. I actually don't mind it. I actually like the first effect. That's probably my favorite effect of the two, but overall, I really don't think it's that bad of a card, in my opinion. But that is going to be it for the new Speedroid support. General thoughts on it. I like the cards. I think they're pretty cool. I will say the MVP is Clearwing Rider. It's definitely my favorite design card out of the whole entire bunch. I mean, it's literally Clearwing as a bike. It is amazing. In terms of effect-wise, that would go to Cork Blaster. I think Cork Blaster is a very, very good card. The fact that you're able to special summon with this card, there is so much potential for this card, and I really do see this being played in a Speedroid deck. I think this card is definitely going to have some copies of Cork Blaster in a Speedroid deck. In the thoughts on the other ones, I think they're okay effects. I don't think they're bad effects at all, but I definitely think in terms of the power levels of like Cork Blaster, I don't think they really fit that criteria, but they're nice cards to the deck. I'm pretty satisfied with them, but guys, that's going to be it for this OCG TCG video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think of this new Speedroid support. Do you think it's good? Do you think it's alright? Or do you don't think the cards are really that good at all? And let me know, and this is just for me personally, let me know what you guys think of the fact that we literally got a Clearwing bike as a card. I just think it's hilarious, and I absolutely love it. The fact that we got a Clearwing as a bike is incredible, and I love it. And as an extra bonus as well, let me know your guys' rankings of the 3 main ones that got support for this. Leerlust, Sacred Knights, that's what I'm going to call them, and the Speedroids. And make sure to add in Crystal Clearing in there as well. Make a ranking out of those. Rank those 3 from least to greatest in your guys' opinion. Whether that's by effect, whether that's just because of the fact that you like the archetype, or whatever the case might be, just rank them down below. I would be very interested to see your guys' response in regards to that. But with that being said, that is going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, guys, take care and have yourselves a great rest of your day.